Hello and welcome to this next session of Apocalypse Keys. This is a homebrew mystery, Till We Have Faces, and we are in the third session of this mystery. Last time we wrapped up with some stuff going down, some violent, visible things that occurred that we'll come back to talk about what the implications are of those for our characters. One of our players, the player playing Weeper, is not here today, so we will be I have a diegetic reason to move him off, as we'll see. But what I want to start with for our players is checking in with each of them and getting their picks for the start of session questions, and if there are any other moves or things that have been added or things I should know about before we roll into where we're at. So I'm going to start with Egther. Egther, did you get any advances or ruin moves or anything I should know about?
Yeah, I got a ruin advance, and I I'm not super interested in the ones from my own playbook.
Okay.
At least not right now. I'm thinking of Tower of Isolation for later, like having access to some fortress sort of thing. But
Hmm.
I feel like that's in the future. So I picked up from the summoned. Humanity was a dream, where when I reveal my heart to someone who may become a harbinger, I can instead basically, as I read it, it replaces reveal your heart with telling them why I am destined to become a harbinger and how this makes me afraid, and some things.
Okay. So a different sort of going down the track towards the darkness a little.
Yeah,
And you still have a condition marked from last time, so
I
that's there.
do.
Um, and you got a new permanent power, right? Last time, or is it for just for the
Yeah,
mystery?
no, it's permanent.
Okay,
It's the many forms of mythic
okay.
animals.
And you look a little bit different now. Uh,
Yeah, I figure like he has taken on some bestial features like sharp teeth and like thick, almost fur-like hair and
mhm.
on his like on his arms and body. And maybe the one hand he has that's his real hand is a bit claw-like.
Mhm.
But I think, and maybe like pointed ears a bit, but I
Yeah,
think it's on the level where it's not immediately obvious, but if you look closer, it's definitely there, if that makes sense.
I like the contrast that you have the animal hand and then the glamour hand put by Surreal is still look very normal. Uh, so what do you want to choose for your XP question for this session? And that is just above your powers of darkness.
Yeah. Um, I think I'm going to pick. Did you compromise the beliefs and traditions of your people for the sake of someone else?
Oh, interesting. Okay, I like that. And otherwise, you don't have any start of session things, right? Okay. Then let's come to our fallen. Surreal, did you get an advance of any kind last time?
I can't remember if I told you about this one, but I took a second ruin move. I will rise again, which provides me with a 10, 11 or so step process to become a proper god again.
Okay.
And that's down there on row 174. I need to spend a ruin to tick a box. I think appropriately I should find fictional positioning to do that rather
Right.
than just ruin myself up. But yeah. And the keeper describes the consequence you face for your growing power. then choose one, blah. So that's sitting there. The other one I wanted to just remind you of, because I keep forgetting about it,
Okay.
is up on row 17, the division move, honorary human status. What it says is, once per scene, choose, describe how you compromise in a significant way to please the public, gain one bond with them, or describe how a fan reaches out to you to remind you why your work at the division is important, clear one condition. That seems quite demanding on a scene by scene basis. But
Yeah. And that'll be where you feel it's appropriate. I'm going to let you make the call on that as you feel, because those are beneficial things. So we'll try to give you space to work that in. What do you want for your end of session experience question?
well, I think that that I played with a significant level of restraint last week. So because the previous debrief, it struck home.
Mhm.
But I think this week I'm going to play to "Did you bless the week with the immeasurable glory of your presence?"
That seems appropriate. And otherwise, you don't have any starter session?
Nothing, no.
Okay. All right. That will bring us to Lissa. Lissa, did you get an advance or a rune
I
advance?
got an advance last time,
Okay.
and I took a move from the summoned playbook. We're family now. When someone spends a bond with you to modify a roll by +1 or -1, they choose the bond instead grants +3 or a -3 bonus, and they could instead choose to gain a new bond with me afterward. Or excuse me, I gain a new bond with them afterward.
So it's either give a bigger bonus or
Yes.
give you a bond.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That seems pretty cool. You have one condition marked still
Vicious.
hanging over.
Yep. And then I've got my starting move where I choose another PC to be my heart and share the burden of my power with. Say why you hope they will save you from what the darkness demands. And considering what happened at the end of last session, I think I'm going to do something unusual and choose Suriel. And I think Suriel is going to save me from what the darkness demands, because I'm going to push that son of a bitch to go first. And along the same lines, the question that I'm choosing for XP is, did you use your power to provoke or entice another monster?
Okay. All right. That seems fair.
It's Alan, if you're okay with all that. You were laughing, so. All right.
So we are going to be taking up here on the campus of Santa Renata University again. We're going to take up, I'm actually going to, I think, hard frame this forward a bit. We can either do it the early morning, or we can do it the next day as people wish, but kind of in the aftermath of some of the things from last time. You have 6 keys established so far. It is a difficulty 6 mystery. So, you could move to that, but generally you'd probably want to get at least another key or 2. Our goal probably today is to be hitting that unlock the door by the end of the second hour or into that third hour, I think is probably fair. Now, a lot of what we need to do today is also seeing if you can find some more context. Keys are not the only thing you're looking for. Keys provide a solid thing that you need to work into, but context, either that you define or that we kind of come up with together, that with pieces that help you fill in the story and add to that to be able to weave this together. The one thing I tell people, I think I mentioned this last time, but really the mystery solving process, when we come to that, is very much what a GM does when they come to a session. They go, oh my God, we've got all these threads. How do I weave them together? How do I pull them together? And how do I backfill all of that? So that is what is here in the play. But of course, mystery solving is just a portion of the play cycle. The play cycle is also about dealing with your own character's shit. That's the second leg of play cycle. What We might consider the Monster Hearts section of the program, and then dealing with other monsters shit, what we might call the entanglements portion of the program. So those are the three legs of the Apocalypse Key stool as I see it. There was a fire that interrupted a particular gathering there that has been kind of played off as an accident. There's still this arts festival going on, but people are nervous about it. You've got a number of clues there relating to the school and to the murders and to the film. There's some aspects that haven't been perhaps leaned into as much, but we might not get to them. But those are out there on the table, like the returners and some of the other things. But we will work with that. We start out though with another ticking of the doomsday clock, which I should have done at the end of last session, but we're kind of at a good place to stop. What we will see here on screen is the arrival of a motorcade. And we will see that motorcade arrive, and we will see a number of priests get out from the motorcade, and they will open the doors, and a bishop will emerge. And this is the church that has arrived, and they will go in and they will speak with the Father, and they will ask what has gone on. They will ask, about what division has done, all of this, and they seem very concerned. And the Archbishop there, Archbishop Tibero, will contact division, and it's very clear that there's a back and forth there. And Serial, you will receive a call here in that early morning from your handler.
My
And
dear lady, how can I help?
the church is unhappy. We're operating on their grounds. We need to take care of this harbinger, which means a certain amount of compromise is required. I have agreed to remove Weeper and pull him back to Division HQ as a temporary compromise that will allow the continuation of your investigation.
I do feel I need to share with you the fact that this was not an issue that Father Narada raised with me when we prayed together last night.
I don't know about that on the ground. What I know is when the Vatican calls me at Division HQ and it has been relayed up, they are going to have one of their people on the ground there, a witch hunter bishop.
Oh, not one of these men in black.
Just be careful. Do not antagonize the Archbishop. Just you and your team avoid him.
Do we have a name?
Archbishop Tibero.
Oh, they are either very worried or they're very worried.
I'm going to see what I can find out about the dynamics of this, but for the moment, Weeper has been recalled. Continue on with your investigation. Get it done.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I'll tell the others.
Okay. Let me cut to Egther. in the aftermath of last night, in the next day, as the sun comes up. We've already established that while you drink, it's very difficult for you to get drunk. So any of that is mostly your imagining. But what are you feeling today?
Deep regret and think I don't trust my own instincts, so I am. I think I'm committing myself to trying to solve this situation we're here for, which I was kind of half not interested in before, because I need something to focus on, and this may be something I can do well that will actually do some good. Yeah.
Are you taking any darkness tokens for that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think I'm feeling some doubt and confusion.
Okay.
So I'm taking 2 for that.
All right. Lissa, last night we kind of left off with you in some emotion or turmoil, doing good, making a connection, then having Surreal yell at you, then having Surreal kind of draw back on that, but certainly not enough for your taste. And then Surreal sparkling the eyes of the person that you made the connection with, and hogging the spotlight there. So in the morning before you go to meet up with the rest of the team, like, where do we see you? What is your mental state?
Can I just, to slight clarification?
Sure.
I thought Cyril left it that he then sent the Chancellor in Lissa's direction.
Which is what I remember as
Yeah.
well.
So I mean, we can roll back and narrate how you thought that went down. Let's say if that changes the dynamic here.
Only slightly, because I was slumped against that tree. So I probably didn't notice Surreal like actually doing something kind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think where we find me waking up is, you see my feet swing out of bed. You know, a hand reaches out, grabs a lighter and a pack of cigarettes. I light a cigarette, and I'm wearing the Chancellor's blouse.
Okay.
And I get up and I put on pants and grab my jacket and walk out the door.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm stealing some of her clothes.
Okay.
They smell nice, you know.
That means you've left some of yours behind then.
Just in case you need something to mess around with.
Oh well. And that feels like a relatively positive thing. It doesn't feel like necessarily you generate any darkness tokens from that.
No.
Okay.
You know, I'm not being vicious. I'm just like, it's a nice shirt. Better than mine.
And Surreal, what's your reaction to this briefing? Like, what is your thoughts? What is your emotional state here before we bring the other two onto the scene?
I mean, Weeper is a pain in the arse, okay, and he's on the edge of being
and he doesn't think you're a god.
Precisely, he's on the edge of those divine servants that I blame for being in the position I'm in today. You know, the Reformation screwed up an attempt by me. You know, the Inquisition screwed up an attempt by me. Every time I get anywhere, the church is in the way. You know, the church with a capital C is in the way.
Right.
So I think I'll go and find the Archbishop.
Okay. Then I think you will go over to the seminary house. There are a number of priests. They are spiritually and magically armed, as you can tell. And so they will kind of fall in at your approach.
I open my jacket to demonstrate I'm unarmed.
They put a hand up. Conversation. You will see the Archbishop's assistant come out and say, Mr. Serial, how can I be of assistance to you? The Archbishop is currently going over matters.
I wanted to come and apologize in person for any offense that might have been caused by my colleagues. I think that I will unleash a bit of that old call me master. When you declare how you mesmerize onlooking NPCs with your faded power, well, I think it's just all in the eyes.
All right. How many points do you want to spend?
I feel obliged to spend all 3.
Okay.
Oh, and I don't have the dice remote. My apologies.
What?
I know. Schoolboy error or what? I wondered why there was so much screen real estate for you lot.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, let's try this. So I will roll 2d6 and I will add 3. That is, hang on. Oh, yes, that is a 6 plus 3 is 9.
Okay.
Which is the sweet spot.
Yeah. What is it that you want to have happen?
They will fulfill a single command exactly as I wish. And what I wish is a personal interview with the Archbishop.
The assistant will be that hesitation. See the others. I think you can feel the crackle of some of the divine protections here, but they seem to be keyed to things more active. And you will be brought in to see Archbishop Tiberio.
And the conversation is a very, very personable one. I genuinely want to understand what offense Weeper might have caused. And is there anything the rest of us can do that might help? And while we talk, a dim halo will begin to glow around my head.
And the Archbishop will say, sending Weeper away is the least of my requests. You are well known to me and my brethren, Master Suriel. And so you can understand our concern.
I could be very helpful to the church.
Then go and be helpful, but know that I am merely the spear point of a reaction should you attempt anything outside your remit.
Are you telling me that you don't need honest to God saints on earth? I mean, look.
I have spoken to your superiors. I've informed them about this. I am the canary in the coal mine, as it were, for what could happen. So I suggest that you go and continue with your investigations.
My dear Archbishop, always a pleasure to talk to the church. I hope we talk again soon.
May God go with you.
He does. And once I've left the seminary, the cathedral, I think it's time to just update my fans, really.
Okay.
And so I'll just do a little kind of broadcast to my social media that explains that fantastic last night. People are saying it was an accident. I'm not sure it was an accident. I think that it was a phenomenally constructed piece of performance art, and a bit like this, showing them the halo.
All right.
And then I wait for the internet to explode.
Are you taking a bond or something else? with the other choice?
I think that probably I am going to take a bond, I think.
Okay.
That seems to
Yeah,
be
because
the
I don't think you have a
logical thing.
condition marked right now.
No, I don't. So
Okay.
it's logical that I would take a bond.
Right. So let's cut from that to the three of you gathered to discuss matters. We'll assume that a briefing has been given about the situation with Weeper, and you are in another part of the university, talking about next steps. When we come to this conversation, what are you saying, Edgar? Sorry.
Oh, It seems we have gathered a number of clues and items that are relevant to whatever is happening here, but we whatever is happening is still obscured to me. Do you have more insight, either of you?
I'm going to talk to Miss Coral. For some reason, she was insistent that this film be shown, and I can't help but think that there's a connection between the film and Ordonez and whatever the hell is going on. I mean, I think I've gotten about all I can from the Chancellor.
Surreal?
I'd like to just put together anything I saw in Father Morata's study last night with what I consider to be a fairly significant overreaction on the part of the church. And I want to try and work out what is worrying them so much, because I don't believe it's just us.
Does this feel like a grasp keys?
I think that's what I'm pitching at.
All right. How much do you want to spend?
Again, I think I took 4 for my arrogance to the bishop. So I'd like to spend 3 of those, please.
Okay.
That is 6 plus 4 is 10.
10, hitting those sweet spots.
Whew.
Holy moly. So I think that there will be a bit where you're thinking about the seminary building that you were just in, some of the other buildings. You're thinking about some of the pictures on the walls on Father Morata's office, and kind of, I think we'll see you kind of flash back to looking through some of the other papers and briefings and things like that. And some of the markers that you see in those pictures of, like, these are very old pictures of this place before it became a university, when it was just a church building. And you will realize that this location, this place, used to be a training place for exorcists. This is like, and like, not just like the, oh, we're teaching, but like the serious, dangerous witch huntery type elements of the Catholic Church. And I think that key is that history of this place being a training ground for exorcists. Does that seem like a fair clue? How are you communicating that?
Well, I think I will go back in search of, again, I cannot now remember where we are based. I think we're living somewhere on the university campus.
Yeah,
So
essentially, I imagine right now the three of you are in, like I imagine like the the nicer part of the dining hall, the student union kind of place, having a coffee and a light breakfast while you're discussing this.
Fine. And I think I'll just cast a casual veil over us so Egtha doesn't look quite as extreme, to the point of attracting attention, because we're supposed to be here doing things quietly. Interrupted only by occasional request for a selfie.
Yeah.
There's a lot been going on in this place, folks. And I'll pull up on the phone just some photographs I've snapped around the place, showing these signs that are indicative of this having been a place that trained exorcists. We did that was skimmed over in the briefing. I'd have thought it might have been in the briefing. Worries me a little bit, particularly now that Weeper's been sent home.
Exorcists, huh?
Yeah. And you know, covers a multitude of sins. We're not just talking about fallen angels here. You know,
I mean,
those guys are hot shit at some of this.
Between Egther and you and I think you're the only one who really needs to be worrying about that, Serial, because, well, aren't you a god? Or no, you're a god.
And that is not untrue at the moment. But I want to just stress that history has proven them to have a very wide remit in their definition of witch.
Oh, they would need to replace the first letter. But yeah, accurate. I'm not sure how well they would do facing a singularity.
And that is why the church has taken the things that we can do. You know, some people call us monsters. Well, the church has a long history of dealing with monsters that are, by personal experience, I caution against testing too testily.
At this point, I want to summon some bright twinkling stars over my head.
Okay.
If you want me to roll for this,
No,
that's totally okay.
That doesn't seem like you're trying to change the game state in any way.
No, I want to make sure that they're like cute and bright and shiny and draw attention. Say, does this really look that monstrous, Serial? I mean, look, they're so pretty. Do you need a selfie with them?
Your experience of the church, your first-hand experience of the church when it goes all in, Lissa, is small. I just caution you to be conscious of them. They didn't get to the top of the pile and stay there this long without having some significant pull. You know, Egtha, your people will have come across them. Back me up here.
What few of us were still around when the church arose, yes. And Lissa, I don't think Serial means to present these exorcists and whatnot as a direct physical threat to any of us, but their ability to isolate us even further from humanity and from our supporters here is not to be taken lightly.
At this point, I want to have the little stars start floating around the dining hall and like landing on students' noses and that sort of thing.
Okay.
I feel obliged to mark forlorn at this point because this is just so depressing.
Does this count as provoking Serial?
I think that
Yeah.
I think you definitely are.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm not sure if this applies, because one of the ways I get tokens is ask someone to doubt their future.
I
I'm
think
not
that's
sure if
appropriate.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. I'll take two. Need to spend some tokens.
So this still feels like we haven't like risen to like you right now. We're just kind of cosmetic, you know. There's an arts festival going on. We've already established performance art and things like that, and I think people are just kind of reacting to that as yet another special effect thing that's going on here on campus.
Yep. Yep. I'm not trying to change the game state or cause. I'm basically doing this to annoy Surreal.
Yeah.
I think. Ooh. Egther will kind of inch closer to Lissa and think put his hand on her arm and realize that it's the glamour hand, because that's what's closest.
Right.
And I will say, Lissa, I understand that you chafe at being cautioned to restrain your actions and your abilities. But I think that even though Suriel may have put it pointedly, his words should be taken seriously, and we should proceed with some caution. None of us want to be trapped or restrained by others any more than we already are. And I think I'm trying to reveal my heart here.
That feels right.
So I'm going to spend 3 on that. So 2 dice, 3, and that is 9. That's good.
So 9 total.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's in that sweet spot. So what do you want as your choice? And then we'll ask Lissa about their reaction.
Yeah. I'm going to say I grow closer and gain a bond with Liz.
Okay. Lissa, are you rising? Are you reacting to that? Or are you pushing that away?
So, Andish, let me know if this is okay. Because I think at this point, Lissa, realizing that it's your glamored hand, would like snuggle up under your arm with your shoulder, with your arm around her, like just literally like snuggling in under your. So you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I will look up and say, you know something? Egther, you are, and I don't know, maybe this is because of how long you've been around. You're always so comforting. You're like a big teddy bear. It's really nice. It's I really appreciate it, especially when Surreal's being such a shit. And I will take 2 darkness tokens for lashing out at Surreal at the same time that I am growing closer with Egther. And I think Egther has yeah, I'll take a bond with Egther because I'm out of bonds.
That seems reasonable.
And I'll just snuggle up and I don't know. I hope Egther doesn't notice the lipstick on the collar of the blouse, but you know, if he does, whatever.
Feels like we're in a place where maybe we can kind of cut that scene and kind of do a once around, letting you call scenes, talk to NPCs, try to find out more stuff about the context or grasp a key. Does that seem reasonable? Uh let's start with Egther and Cyril and Alyssa. Let's do it that order here. Egther, like you have that moment, you know, but then there is the call of the case here. What do you want to do? Who do you want to talk to? What do you want to look into? What is it that you want to bring to bear here?
I feel like Egther's main interest in the mystery, or the thing he feels he can do something about, is the mystical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
We have this old coin, we have people turning into flowers, we have the transparencies of imaginary places. I don't remember what that was about from last session.
Yeah, that was the clue that Lissa found, that sort of valise with these various transparencies with maps and things drawn on them, but they don't correspond to any real place.
Right. So I think he will try to make sense of this and search his memories and maybe contact someone in division who could have information about this. I'm not aiming for a particular move or something. That's just
Sure.
what I feel like is Egther's way
So
in.
you'll call one of the division boffins, as it were, magical boffins. What's their name?
I think Georg. Now I'm thinking of a Swedish name, Georg Strandell. I will put it in the Strandell is probably. I will put it in the. So yeah.
He will answer. He's glad to hear from you. Again, imagine the heavy accent going through there. I'm not going to even try to do that, but he says, "Is everything all right?"
Accent.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be a British show, so it has to be played by a Brit. So,
Yeah.
uh, uh, the Wallander syndrome. So he says, "You don't usually call me. I know you're on a mission. What is the matter?"
We have encountered a number of events and objects that seem to have mystical significance, and we're having some trouble making sense of them.
He'll have you kind of walk through what's going on, and he will say, "It's there's a lot there. It seems like there's a lot of things coming in from the outside. You mentioned this djinn that was there, and these returners, people who have been to the other side and come back. And a film is a doorway as well, mythically. And that may be the thing, is
there is a connection to another place, perhaps, or other places.
right. What it may be that one of those people who was taken and come back knows more, or or there's something else. I don't know. That seems like a possibility.
Thank you. You have given sage advice. I shall inform your superiors of your skill and wisdom.
He says, the one thing I will say before I let you go is, it does beg the question, why was that Ifriti there?
Well, sadly, we cannot ask him.
So let's come to Serial, and we may swing back on Egther. That may be like good fictional positioning for you to do a grasp the key here in a bit, but let's kind of roll through. Serial, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What are you looking into?
I think this is an interlude. I think that Suriel is sitting on a bench in the grounds of the university, maybe with a light veil to just keep his distance from the people around him, because he is feeling pretty low right now, forlorn. He is, he's reached out to Lissa. He's tried to explain to her some of the realities of life as a monster. And she seems incredibly resistant. So he's beginning to think the only way she's going to learn is if she really comes a cropper somewhere. And that's, that's just kind of depressing, because he has lots of experience of, climbing the heights and falling fast. And so I think probably this is an opportunity for someone to sit down next to me. As in my honorary human status. I'm thinking, describe how a fan reaches out to you to remind you why your work at Division is important. Clear one condition. Because Surreal needs a lift.
You have the obvious choices are the Chancellor or the Father are obvious ones, or we could introduce someone else. What would you like?
I think it would be interesting if it was Father Marada. And maybe he says something.
He sits down and he says, "They really don't like you, do they?"
And I turn to him and say, "No." And I, despite my best efforts,
your best efforts have involved tongue before, so you understand what I think of your best efforts.
Oh, it's my mischievous nature, and I think the first thing so I engaged in conversation with him, and I realized that somehow the veil has not kept him out. That he's seen through the veil, and there's a kind of, how did you do that?
He says, I've spent my adult life working with people touched by glamour and magic and those kinds of things. And you were not trying that hard.
Maybe not. But do you ever get that feeling, Father, that you're a Christian priest, you keep pushing people to see what you perceive to be common sense, and they just don't get it?
No, I know exactly where you are from on this. Well, not exactly. I kind of looks at you, but as much as someone of my mortality can, I understand.
Because it just seems to me that I know I'm real. I know that I am a channel for divine power. Okay, love me or hate me, that's a fact. But you have nothing to rely on but faith in somebody else. How do you keep pushing that story?
Do you think living as long as you have, this immortality that you have, makes it easier or harder to deal with these kinds of turnabouts when your friends and your companions, when you see them go through the same motions, through the same Sisyphean acts? Harder or easier?
I'd never thought about that, Father, but there is something to that. There's something about the way that mortals, no offense,
None
you just
taken.
flicker in the wind, you're gone. I'd never looked at it that way. I've seen a lot of you come and go.
And you'll see more.
Yeah, I suppose I will.
And I think you'll have that flicker just for a moment of the backdrop of the city, of the ruins, of the roots tying you down.
And the forlorn meter flicks up again. But I think on balance, I'll finish this scene by saying, thank you, Father. It's a bit of perspective now and again. It's really helpful. No tongues.
No. He says, look, my concern is that my charges are safe. And so I certainly want this dealt with. And I know that you and the others, whatever monstrous facade you put on to us, that you do want to help.
Gee whiz. Well, look, on that, let's put everything aside. Can I meet some of your charges? No funny business.
There are a couple of them that I think are strong enough to meet with you. Yes.
No monster, just a guy.
That seems fair. Let us do that. Let's get there. Let's take our first break. Take our 10. We'll come back and we'll start with Lissa. If you want to talk to the film person, or if there's something else you want to do, does that seem fair?
Works for me.
Okay. So take 10 and we'll come back. So Lissa, you want to track down this woman who's in charge of the film festival?
Miss Coral.
Absolutely. Let me grab a picture and put it in the keeper here real quick. So cut. The next thing. Paste. There we go. Okay. So essentially, because the chancellor, as you know, has given your names and so on to people, they are expecting you. You will find Ms. Coro talk with some people, clearly checking on theater capacities and tickets, and getting ushers in. The things that have happened have probably put a pinch on the volunteer staff that she has available to her, and so she looks a little pressed from that. You'd guess she's probably a senior, and that this is her big project for the year, and she will, when you introduce yourself, she will greet you, and she said, the chancellor said that you were going to be speaking with us.
I had no idea you'd be so young. I expected a woman in her 40s or 50s to be running this film festival.
This is a student run a festival. The teachers act as as chaperones and advisors, but they don't do the legwork. We do the legwork.
Do we need a chaperone?
You tell me. How can I help you? What is it you want to know?
Yeah. The Calling by Ordonez.
I will tell you that I saw it, but I cannot even now tell you what that film was about or describe it to anyone. I've talked to at least a dozen people who were in the theater, and we all have very different takes on what we saw. And I don't know if they're all connected, like the blind men and the elephant. I don't know if they all fit together into something, or if it's just chaos. I have no idea what he did. If this was some sort of new experimental cinematography, I don't know.
Do you recall anything specific about the movie?
Landscapes, I think. I want to say that. There were vistas. I mean, I know that there were people, but I remember wide-ranging, like lonely arc. Like, I'm sorry. It reminded me of when my friends and I used to go and hike out into the mountains, where you get out there and you could tell that there was no one else around for forever.
I see. The print. Do you still have it?
No. I don't know exactly what happened. There was, when we went back into the building, the print was gone. The reels were still there. So did someone unwind it onto another set of reels? Did it catch? I mean, I don't think it caught fire. There were no, I don't know. And that was the only print of it that we had. He had brought it here along with his, collection of his earlier shorter films, and of course some of his schlocky work from his early days, when he was still very much in the mold of Fulci and that kind of thing. No, the whole thing was very strange.
Do you know where his studio was, where he kept his work, his editing bays and such?
I know he lived on the coast. I think he's 2 or 3 hours north of here. He supposedly had a studio there, but I never talked with anybody who went there or worked with him. I asked him if he would bring some of the actors to also talk when he showed the film, but he said that wouldn't be necessary. I don't know if he has a reputation for alienating actors, so I thought perhaps he had perhaps driven them off, but I do not know.
I see. Do you know any of the people who saw the movie here on campus?
Absolutely. I can give you a partial list of the people that we had given reserved tickets to. And she'll turn and she'll say, Marta, go and get me my clipboard. And she'll turn back to you. Yeah, I was using it to try and track some down to talk with them about what they saw. So yeah, I can certainly let you take a photo of it so you can have those names.
Thank you. That'd be most helpful. And I know you're extremely busy right now. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I wonder, at what time of the day does the festival die down for you?
We've got one more day before the festival completes. When that is done, that is when the festival will die down for me.
I see.
But if you're still around then,
Dinner?
it may be late, but yes, things here in Barcelona are open late. So yes.
Late dinners are the best. And I'll smile a winning smile. I don't know. Does that count as revealing my heart, perhaps?
I like that. Yeah.
All right.
You were nakedly interested. I think that counts.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. So I need to refresh because I lost connection to the game server.
Okay.
So 2 seconds here.
Well, let me move on, and
Sure.
because we're going to kind of come around. Egther, do you have something you want to follow up on? Do you want to do? We could fold you in with what Suriel is doing, or we could do something else. What would you like?
Yeah, I think going along with Serial would be interesting. We haven't had that many scenes together.
Does that seem fair for you, Suriel?
The only practical difficulty is I will need to completely veil him into something that resembles an ordinary guy, because I did promise the father no monster.
I mean,
I think
can-
that's perfect.
You can do your thing, and I can be like around in the same area doing something different.
But you can also talk to people. Let's do the veil, because then we have something as a potential going wrong thing in the scene.
Exactly so.
Because we
Exactly
need
so.
that.
Yeah, because otherwise nothing goes wrong in these connections. So yeah, I think that I think if Egther's willing, and you may want me to roll for this, it seems to me though it's up to you. But I think I need to just drape him in a bit of less monstrous Egther, you know, like when he arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise we're endlessly going to be, you know, I mean, Weeper's bad enough, but at least he wears a hoodie.
Yeah, the hoodie only helps so much, but yeah, I don't think there's a need to roll. Like, I think this is a casual use of your powers.
Fine.
that could go wrong.
Fine. That's the hook that you have offered me, and I gratefully accept it. Thank you.
So, Egther, Suriel, like, what are you saying as the father to each other, as the father is kind of leading you through the building to where the returners are?
Well, I think I'll reinforce to Egther the fact that I've made a solemn promise to the father, and this time I mean it. I'm turning down the monster because, you know, I just want to engage with these people just like mortals do.
And I shall be as human as I can.
Thank you. There's no more I could ask.
And I think it's first at this point that I kind of wave at Garm to slip away for a bit. I think he's been walking behind us. Because
I mean,
maybe an eight-legged wolf is kind of a thing that we don't want around right now.
But you would look really cool with a chihuahua. I'm just saying that, you know, the cowboy hat and the beard and a chihuahua is a very hot look. I could get you social media following.
I cannot guarantee that Garm would not throw off a glamour, even if applied by someone so skilled as yourself.
I'm just saying, Egther, you know, you're not going to get any followers looking like this, let alone the way you really look.
Good thing I'm not looking for followers then.
But I will take 4 darkness tokens for spite and arrogance.
Oh, that seems fair. Father Murata will bring you into the courtyard that adjoins this psychiatric facility that they have there on the grounds, kind of open, a place that's still enclosed, but the people can go outside. And you will see, he'll kind of gesture, you'll see three different people. One of them is a pair. You'll see this young woman, very, how do I put this, thin and pale, kind of seated out on a stone bench. She has some books by her. She's reading. She's kind of off by herself. In contrast to that, sort of at the other end of the courtyard, you'll see this woman who looks like she's in her early 20s. She's in a workout outfit. She's got those kind of smallish boxing gloves on. And she's actually, they've got a set up a bag out here for her to work on, and she is going at it like full on. And then the last is, you'll see there's a woman in a wheelchair who has a kind of a distracted expression on her face. And you'll see that there's another woman who is very clearly related to her, who is kind of sitting nearby, you guess is a caretaker, who she's sitting there kind of smoking, and every once in a while there's maybe some conversation that goes on between two of them, but it feels very one-sided. And the father will say, these are the three that we currently have here. I don't know what should I tell you about them?
Could we just talk to them?
Certainly, perhaps kind of pause. Perhaps
sit in.
Well, no, I'll let you talk to them, but maybe one-on-one. Maybe if you, and I kind of gestured you, I want to talk to one and the other, just to not put too much pressure on them.
Egtha, which one do you want to take, or the pair or the single?
So there's the thin woman on the bench, the woman doing the workout, and then the woman on the wheelchair with her sister.
Oh, the sister. Yes, sorry, I've forgotten that. Yeah, right.
Yeah. The woman working out.
Okay.
I think Egtha will gesture towards her.
And Cyril, who do you want to talk to?
I think the young woman sitting on her own on the bench.
All right, let's start with that. You will go over, and as you come, she will stand up. It's a very attractive young woman, possibly trans. It's hard to tell from here, just from the appearance. But she kind of bows and nods to you, and she says, "Hello, are you another doctor?"
And soul venom. I just sent the vulnerability, the susceptibility.
She
and I am
smells
torn between
of someone who has been absolutely betrayed.
Yes, and the victim is just so appealing. So I am absolutely torn between.
Absolutely.
Do I stick with what I promised the father, or do I reveal myself in all my glory?
What do you think?
I think I am going to. I think I can bind two together here, because I think that at this point, I think that describe how you compromise to a significant way to please the public, i.e., not be a monster,
right?
Gain a bond with them, and then torn between, I think, describe how you diminish your power and conform to the pressures of humanity and lose all your darkness tokens. All those spitefully gained darkness tokens.
she will have you sit down. She says, "Are you all right?"
Yes, just it's the sun. Don't worry. How are you? What's your name?
My name is Lane.
Lane. And Lane, do you mind if we talk about life here?
Want to talk about life here or life there?
I want to talk about. Can I be really honest with you? I want to talk about Carlos. Did you know Carlos well?
I knew him as well as anyone. He and I've had a hard time. He had a easier time. He went out a lot more than the rest of us. And he had his experience was one that left him with a lot of guilt.
Sorry, just to confirm, he's the only survivor of his kidnap.
Yeah, everyone else died.
Yeah, it's so they're different experiences. They're not in the same plane, same
Right.
place. Okay.
She'll say he tried to understand what I went through, but I don't think he did. We had very, very different times, and he had other people that were there with him, other friends for a time, but I was there with others who had already gone over.
I see. And do you want to tell me about your experience? I don't want to push you.
No, the father says it's good for me to talk about it. When I was young, I was whisked away in the night by Innocente, the eternal child, and he flew me through the night sky, and he took me to the most marvelous place, the most wondrous place. And he and the other boys and I played and played and played, and there were games and there were trials and there were all sorts of things. And we fought against the pirate queen, who was the adversary there. But at a certain point, I realized that I saw something in the queen and her people that I didn't have with Innocente, and I tried to come to terms with that because I wasn't comfortable with who I was, and I tried to. I thought this was a place of freedom and I could be who I was meant to be, but when I did that, Innocente said I was no longer like him and the other boys, and he cast me away and sent me back. Sometimes I feel like I betrayed him, and sometimes I feel just an absolute rage at him.
I think Suriel is going to do a good thing or a bad thing here.
Okay.
I think Suriel is going to use soul venom to try and just draw some of that pain away from her.
That feels like power through darkness.
I think it does.
How many tokens do you want to spend?
That I have none. So I will simply roll 2d6.
Okay.
Oh, is that an 8? Gee whiz.
You guys are killing me today.
Oh, that is a surprise.
I think you will draw away like that guilt, that one that gives her that survivor's complex that tie to that abuser, and you will pull that away. And I think you will see her sit up a little straighter, like her eyes kind of narrow. Maybe her voice gets a little more solid, like there's some reassurance, and she's thinking differently about it now.
Thank you so much for our conversation.
She reached out her hand. She says, thank you for talking with me. I feel much better thanks to you.
Well, as the father says, the more people you talk to, maybe the better you'll feel.
You are an angel.
I am wondering which condition to tick. Leave me with that one.
Absolutely. Egther, you will go over to this woman. You can kind of feel a sympathy to her because you can feel the anger off of her. And, she's there working the bag. And as you approach, she kind of turns and looks at you with that, oh, here's another one kind of thing. And she says, but then she realizes like you're no slouch. You're a big guy, regardless of the veil. Kind of scary. So she does like take a kind of like stand a little arrogantly, but maybe a little more cautiously than she might otherwise. And she'll say, "Can I help you?"
Yes, I believe you can. I think your experiences can be of assistance to me and my associates.
Okay, who are you? Are you more doctors? You don't look like a doctor. Not at all. Are you
I
a
am not
physical
a
trainer?
healer.
Because I keep asking the father if he'll get me a physical trainer, but he says no.
I can speak with him about that. Maybe I don't know how much
He leads in
influence I have.
like sword training, more sword training.
I could give you a few pointers if you are
Oh,
interested.
yes, anything. I need to be ready.
Are you? And I think I will start like showing her some moves and get into that, and then start to lead into talking about.
You can tell that she is already very good. Like she's clearly fought with a sword. She's clearly used one. And but she's a little rusty. And you will help her. What is it you want to lean into? What do you want to get from her?
Yeah. I think Egther is not like a great swordsman. He isn't a fancy fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So he's but he does have experience, so he leans on that. Um, he wants to get her to talk about the place where she was, what it was like, that sort of thing. But he doesn't ask her directly. It's more like, what is it you, or what kind of enemies do you expect you'll need to fight, and lean into that sort of thing to get some information.
And she'll talk and go on, and she will say, I need to be ready because at some point Sebra will call me back. He will call me to defend his holy throne. The great golden panther who took me and my siblings, we fought for him in his holy wars. And we defended the land. We brought light to people. And then my brother was corrupted and said that Sebra was evil and betrayed. And I had to kill them all. And my brother, villain that he is, even as I struck him down, he threw me and my youngest brother back here. But I know that Sibra will come for me, and I will stand as the right hand of the Holy One again to defend his lands. He will come for me. I know that.
Oof. Yeah, I feel like leaning into the Norse thing with the giants, like kinslaying that's a bad
Oh
thing.
yeah, yeah.
But I think, yeah, Egthed tries to like not reveal anything and just so tell me about this land you protected. What was it like?
She describes this wondrous fantasy land and how sometimes there would be people who went against the word of Sibra, and she and her siblings were sent in to bring his holy light to them and defeat the demons who had corrupted them. She says they were sin bringers who brought sin to the land, and we went and cleansed the land of the sins.
And what sins were these?
Oh, they often took like the vanity or pride or arrogance, and we could see them in those forms, and we would sisters and brothers and I would cut them down.
Hmm.
It was a wondrous place, a place of gardens and forests and everything beautiful and natural and the way it should have been, the Garden of Eden.
Beautiful flowers, I imagine.
Absolutely, yes. It's the most spectacular that you could ever imagine.
I understand that you need to be ready. Have you spoken to your younger brother since you returned?
He refuses to speak with me, and I agreed to come here because I know that I'm having a hard time adapting to this world because it's so horrible and gross and but he will not speak with me, and he has turned his back on me. He does not understand I did what I had to do. He was the youngest. He could not understand this. Do you want to grasp for keys here to kind of top this off, or do you want to
Yeah,
react? Like what do you want as here to move here?
yeah, I think that's the closest to what I'm trying to do. I'll spend 2 tokens on that. Actually, I think I've asked someone to tell me of their past,
Yeah, absolutely.
so I'll take 2 for that. I'm spending 2. That is a 9. That's good.
A 9 total. I think there'll be a bit when maybe like you kind of finally wince visibly when she mentions the kinslaying. And I think that maybe a little bit of your veil kind of slips, and she draws back, and she will step away, and she goes, "You are a sin bringer. I can see it on you." And she will kind of step away from you and look around hurriedly and walk away, and you can see that she leaves behind like her jacket and such. And I think you will pick that up and kind of sniff at it to get her scent. I think that's probably habitual for you, is to do that. But this envelope will fall out from one of the pockets, and you will look inside, and you will see that it is an envelope of seeds.
Ooh.
And you see, as you hold them, you feel them vibrate slightly, like a kind of a just a tiniest vibration from them. That feel like a reasonable key?
Yeah.
Let's swing back to Lissa. Do you want to connect up with Edgar Suriel? Do you have something else you want to look into? What do you want to do?
Well, I rolled an 11 on that. Reveal my heart.
Okay. So let's look at that then. What do you think it is about you, that scares her?
For once, I don't think it's something that has to do with my powers. I think it has to do with the fact that I ask her to be able to inspect or investigate the projection room, and I ask for the key.
And I think, though, it is your manner. Like, you were kind of flirty and obsequious and so on, and then you kind of turn to ask for this, and I think there is that reaction from her, a kind of little bit of a hurt, a betrayal. Even if you didn't intend it, she's reading it as, maybe a manipulation on your part, and she just says, the projection rooms are being used right now. When everything is done, you can see those, but people are using those now. I have to go.
No, hold on one second here. I'm wondering if I can spend a bond to get that into the 10 range.
Okay. I wish you'd done it before we did the narrative there.
It just hit me.
Okay.
I've got one bond left with what the darkness demands.
Okay. Then go ahead and burn that. How does what the darkness demands then push you to succeed? Like, what is it about the darkness and it's pushing you towards those elements, and to be the downfall for those you care for, and to serve the most powerful harbinger of the apocalypse? What is it about that pushes you through to convince her?
I think the darkness actually wants two things here. It wants me to corrupt her, and also it wants me to get into that projection room. There's something there that it wants me to see, that presumably it thinks will make me closer to becoming the harbinger, or a harbinger.
So what do you want for your choice on that 8 to 10?
Okay. I want to gain a bond.
Okay. That seems reasonable. And she will say, it's a variation of what she said before, but she'll say, like, all of the projector rooms are in use right now. You're welcome to go up there, as long as you don't disturb the projectionist while they're running things.
Of course, I'll be quiet as a mouse.
And what do you want to do then?
I want to go check out that projection room before I get back together with Egther and Suriel, because I feel like there may be something there that I can see that others wouldn't.
So you will head up there to the projection booth. You knock. the projectionist. This is probably a student projectionist. So they're like, sorry, come in, yes, and con cuidado, be careful, and they've got the various actual films here, but they've also got digital equipment and things like that. And they're projecting a digital thing right now, and they'll say, "How can I help you?"
I just need to. It may sound a little bit silly, but I just need to see the space where The Crossing was aired, was projected from. The Calling.
Yes. Well, the projector, I moved it over there since we're not using it today.
Really?
Yes, it was on
Please.
film, which is unusual. Most of the things we're getting nowadays are on digital.
I see. Please don't let me bother you. Don't let me disturb you. Go back to what you were doing. And then I want to use my cosmic abilities to scan the room for unusual signatures of light, for dark energy, for dark matter that may be present. See if there's anything unusual about the gravity around the projector. I mean, it was showing vistas of distant landscapes, apparently, so there might be something otherworldly about it, something that I can pick up by using those cosmic abilities.
So let's, it feels like grasp for keys. Okay.
Sure.
How many points do you want to spend on that?
Oh, let's spend 3.
Let's have you roll.
That's a 12.
That is a 12.
Let's see. Significant complication, cost, or fallout.
Are you going to spend bonds before I move on?
Well, look, that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to see if I have enough bonds that I can spend.
You need to spend 2 bonds.
I mean, in theory, could I spend the bond that I have with Chancellor Solaris and Miss Coro?
Yeah, you're always welcome to spend those, and I think Miss Coro makes sense in this context.
All right, then I am spending those 2 bonds to get it down to a 10.
I think that you will reach out your senses and you will feel, as much as anything, the shift and the absence. It's not gravity, it's something else, that sort of tear in the world. And you can kind of see the film running in the air. Like it's not there, but it maybe is there, like a Mobius strip, like an infinity kind of rolling one into each other. And the surface of the film strip is just this mirror. It's just a mirror, and it just keeps kind of rolling on through there.
Can I reach through and grab it?
We can certainly have you power through darkness.
That sounds fun.
Okay. How many tokens do you want to spend?
I want to spend. It says I have 3 here left. So let's go ahead and spend all those.
Okay. Spend all 3. Spend yourself down to 0. Go ahead and roll.
Oops, that's 15.
That is a 15. Well, you don't have enough bonds to take that down to a 10.
Not even close.
So do you want to mark a condition, or does it get bad?
I'll mark a condition.
Okay.
I don't
What
want
are
it
you
to
marking?
get bad. I think obsessed makes sense. I mean, I'm trying to reach into another world to grab a film that itself seems to be a passageway to other worlds.
Yeah. I think you will grab this film, and I think when you wrench it out, it will come back into the real world, and you will just have this sound of zzz as this film just pours out from the air, and falls to the ground in a great big pile.
All right. In that case, I'm going to grab one of the reels off the projector and start winding this thing up
That seems
and whistling while I do it. Like, this
Okay.
is just perfectly ordinary. How does the
Here's-
student react?
Yeah. He's freaked out here, but he has a job to do, and you look like a normal person, so like he's just like trying to keep his focus on his job.
I'll wink at him, very playfully. Like, this happens every day.
Here's what I would like to do.
Mhm.
I would like to take our second break here, take 5. And then I would like to bring the 3 of you back together to talk, because I think we probably, if we're going to finish it today, we'll need to like do that conversation about things now. So let's take 5 and we'll come back. I would like to kind of cut to the scene, probably back on the grounds of that returners facility, but away from where they're at. Probably we're going to assume, hand wave, that the 3 of you have exchanged information, that you have passed the details to one another. But before we kind of go to let's look at the facets of things, I do want to give you a chance, to talk amongst yourselves about what your instincts or reactions or thoughts are, or responses to what you've learned. Egther, what about you? If I can start after all this information comes down and after your meeting with that young woman. And I have pictures for everybody in the folder.
Yeah. I'm very stuck on this whole flowers thing. Now we got the vibrating seed. This isn't how Egther would express
Sure.
it, obviously, but the flowers, these vibrating seeds, in connection with the things that seem to be there's some sort of permeation or something. There's a connection to some other world, or many other worlds. If it's tied to this place or not, I'm not sure. And the movie is obviously part of this as well. But to me, the whole thing feels very, very nebulous. I don't have like a clear idea.
Sure.
This is what's going on.
Have when you've talked with the others, have you expressed your reaction to that whole kinslaying thing to the others? What's your mood when you come back to them? That's kind of what I'm curious about there.
I think to Egther it is this zebra. Was that what it was called? The creature?
Zebra.
Zebra. Is clearly an evil entity, because bringing someone to slaying their own kin is definitely not a good thing. And this young woman, she was clearly taken in and had her head turned by whatever was happening. That doesn't necessarily excuse her. But anyway, Egther's mood is he's kind of depressed about the whole thing. So I think he's a bit distracted as well.
And What about you, Surreal? What's your reaction after all of this?
I took raging as my condition because I'm really angry. Because you can't win as a monster. The things that they did to that girl in that parallel universe are terrible. And I'm a monster. These two are monsters. What? I'm just angry. I want to hit something.
Okay.
And I think, given what I've heard, I want to hit Zebra, because that's a coherent kind of. I could get to Zebra. We could lay hands on Zebra, maybe. So I think Zebra done it.
Okay. And Lissa, what's your reaction to all of this, to what you've learned and to what you've heard here?
Really, I just want to make all of this vanish. I want to vanish Ordonez's home studio, editing bay, etc. I want to make this film disappear. I want to destroy these things so that they cannot be recovered, so that these things cannot be used to harm people again.
Okay. So here's how we're going to do this. I think we're kind of at that position where we can start looking at the pieces and associating them with the facets, and from that starting to kind of weave together a story. So if we look at the mystery map, we've got a list of those keys, and we've got 4 facets, and those 4 facets are the ones that are shared across all the mysteries that we go to. Is the Harbinger itself, who that is, like what we know about them. The Door of Power, kind of what the instrument is for ascension, what the Harbinger is using as a device, that kind of thing. And then for this particular mystery, essentially those murders, the floral deaths, those killings, and then the returners, like their role in this, their connection, their status for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around several times, and we'll come to you, and you'll suggest one of these pieces, one of these keys, say what facet it connects up to and how you see that, and then we'll kind of keep going around trying to build up on that as we go through. So, Egther, which piece do you want to say? Which one do you kind of go, I know that this is connected to this. I know that this tells me something about this, and we can talk about why.
Yeah. Well, the Returner's last moments, that seems to be naturally connected to the status of Returner.
So do you think that like that someone was marking them, somebody was using them, like killing them for a particular reason?
I think they're being used as tools or agents of the Harbinger.
Okay. So that particular,
Wittingly or not.
yeah, connecting that like what they did there was kind of a ritual to maybe, utilize, gather their power kind of thing. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got that connected up. We know how that fits in. Surreal, which one do you want to connect? And you can connect ones that you found or ones that other people found.
I think that the envelope of vibrating seeds would strike me as a very obvious means to a floral death.
So you think, though, that in fact Augustina, like that's a weapon that
I
she
think so.
used? Okay.
I think so. I mean, I suppose if I was being picky, I might switch those two so that the Returner's last moments, the bouquet of weeds, is a link to the floral deaths, and the fact that we found those seeds on a Returner relates to the status of the Returner.
Oh, yeah. I think that fit. Like either way we do it, I think that fits, and I think it connects those two together, so we know that that these seeds were used to kill. Likely Augustina and that the returners were used for this operation.
So how do you feel about me just switching those around, Anders?
Okay. Lissa, let's come to you.
I'm curious. Could I call upon my dark patron to help me understand more about the movie to connect it to the mystery?
Not at this moment, because
Okay.
we've kind of gone to this next move.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like the mirrored film is somehow related to the Door of Power, just because
Okay.
of the vistas and the other worlds that it's showing. If that door opens, it may well open onto one or more of those vistas, or it might rotate.
All right. So we've got this film that was brought here. We've got a film festival going on. There was some kind of, maybe Ordonez was involved with it, or maybe it changed. Definitely, I think connecting that to the Door of Power, that is a means makes perfect sense. That's great. So you can go ahead and click that as connected and change that to Door of Power. So we know some things there. Egther, what's another key that you want to connect up?
Yeah, I think we've done the ones that feel obvious to me.
Yeah. And you can say like how something connects indirectly, or just how it generally fits into the tale, like what it tells us about what's going on.
I think those transparencies of imaginary places, I think those are connected to where the returners have returned from.
So
That
connected up to the status of returners.
yeah.
And transparencies are just like film frames.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense for that connection. So yeah, you can go ahead and mark that as connected and set that to status of returners.
Yeah, or if it's like the Door of Power is like how the Harbinger intends to do
Yeah,
they
what they're
do.
using. I think there are a couple of ways to read that.
Yeah.
Which do you think it fits more with in your mind?
Yeah, I think this depends on what we're most interested in. They could be like descriptions of, or someone's attempt to document what the returners have described of where they were, or they could be an attempt to manifest those worlds here, that sort of thing. I'm not sure what's more interesting.
The interesting question about that first one is like, who made those? Were those transparencies made by the returners? Were they made by Ordonez? Did he come here because he knew something about them?
Yeah, good questions.
What's more interesting for you? Because you're setting this up as your theory.
Yeah. I think it's more interesting if the returners made them themselves.
Okay. That
I guess
maybe
that connects it more to the status of the returners.
So maybe somebody pushed them to do it, or maybe this is what they've seen in dreams, or maybe one of the other returners pushed them. Like if we're saying back to Augustina, maybe she pushed the others to do some kind of activity to draw that out to help manifest this.
Yeah.
Okay. Says returns. Serial, let's come back to you.
Yeah, in a typically self-centered way.
Yeah.
Serial sees the film by Ordonez rather too close to Serial's biography. This is a film about the transcendency of monsters. This is about the creation of a harbinger. So I think that there is a connection between the content, or the supposed content, of this film and the harbinger. I think that Ordonez may well be John the Baptist.
Ooh, John the Baptist. I have another idea for that as well too. There's another way
It
we can
seems
do
to
that.
me, that the GM ought to be able to put to select one, because I
Yeah,
think
well, yeah, we'll play with it, but I like the tying that into the harbinger. That says something about who the harbinger is. It tells us something about them. Let's come back to Lissa.
That contact lens with oily floral pearlescent liquid in it,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that has to be related to the floral deaths. Like perhaps the seeds have to be not necessarily soaked, but at least dipped into that fluid before
Okay.
administered to the victims.
It's part of the means of the attack. Either they needed to be soaked in this liquid, or the attacker needed to wear these lenses when they put them in, or something of that sort. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I'm just curious, is it a lens case, or is it lenses in this liquid?
it is a lens case, and there are contact lenses in it in that liquid. So yeah, I think connecting that to the floral deaths makes perfect sense. So we've got 3 things left, and we kind of want to work out like how they fit in directly or indirectly to what is going on here. Egther, which one do you want to choose?
Um, I think the Islamic coin could be something that has been transported through time because of the disturbance created by
Yeah,
what's going on here.
absolutely. So does that feel like the door of power kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like it's showing that the membrane here has been weakened, that things fall through time, they come through, they pass through, and this harbinger is taking advantage of that's what they're trying to use. Surreal.
I could go either way here. I think either it's the door of power or it's the scales of justice. I think we've got several doors of power. We've got several status returners. I think we don't have enough on the harbinger yet. I think scales of justice, righteousness, guilt, and the weight of a feather. This is about the harbinger weighing souls when they arrive to decide who is worthy of worshipping them. Because I cannot but look at this through the lens of a god.
And certainly Sebra was talked to that very holy Judeo-Christian kind of weighing the souls. I think that makes sense to connect that up. And Lissa, would you like to connect that last one, that just this place in its history of training exorcists?
It's got to be connected to the harbinger. They are training people here to fight the harbinger if that door of power ever opens.
Oh, interesting. Like they know something. Maybe that's why the bishops are sent here, is that there's some old connection here.
It seems likely that the archbishop was sent here to accelerate preparations, a contingency plan.
Perfect. Who rolled last time for opening the door?
Did Weeper?
Oh, okay.
I don't think I did.
So then in that case, since you spoke up first, Alan, the blame
No
now will
pressure,
fall
then.
to you.
Yes, thank you for that.
Go ahead.
And so there's no spend to be had here, is there? It's just
you're
2d6
rolling with a
plus...
+3.
So what could go wrong? Oh, 11 plus 3 is 14.
So I think that we see all of you guys looking over, realizing this, and maybe remembering that tonight is going to be showing a like a compilation of those short films by Ordonez, like a tied together, patchwork together of those. And I think that you all will look up and you can hear the building screaming as as you can almost hear the sound of the projector in the distance as that is starting to tear open this place. And as the three of you kind of step out onto the courtyard, you will see there are flickers of old Spain, future Spain. You'll see a flicker of the ruins and the vines holding you down, Surreal. You'll see Andalusian Spain, the Moorish, the Reconquista, like all of these things, the bombing during the Spanish Civil War, like all of those things are rolling through time here as you are running to this theater, the largest one on campus. And I think as you get there, you will see that that people are kind of falling over, eyes gone white, Lucio Fulci style. When they've been hit by that, they're kind of falling back from that. They've seen too much. I think you will see the screen is flickering as a doorway to another place, and you'll see flowers beyond it. And I think you'll see Augustina with a sword cutting people down here for her master. And you can see coming out of that screen this great golden panther that kind of starts to form and stand upright. And Cyril, you see Gazamak.
Of course I do.
And he's standing there and he's saying, I bring you the new word. Egther, where are you and what are you doing as this person starts ripping reality apart here?
I'm charging right at them.
Okay, just hit past the crowd, past anything else. You're just leaping up there to strike at him.
Yeah. I think trying to avoid to trample anyone or anything like that, but it's not my primary priority.
That seems fair. That seems like a reasonable cost there. Do you have a particular playbook move that you want to trigger, or do you want to just go to the classic Unleash the Dark?
Let me check. Well, I have the Reshaped by Despair, so I get something extra when I unleash the dark. I don't think this is colossal, right?
He's a great godly figure like Surreal, perhaps even better than Surreal.
Yeah, but is he big? Is that because
No, I think you're right. So let's have you unleash the dark. How many darkness tokens do you want to spend?
I need to look at the move. Let's see, unleash the dark. Yeah, I'll spend all 4.
Okay. Well, you can only spend 3.
Oh, right. Yeah, then I will spend 3. Yep, cool. That's a 12. So maybe I should spend a couple of bonds to bring that down.
Now, I will mention that Lissa got that new ability, right? That allows you to spend for a +3 or a -3, correct, Lissa?
It's 1 bond, and you can take -3 off that roll.
If you have a bond with Lissa still left.
Ooh, cool. Yeah. I will do that. I have 3 bonds with Lissa, so yeah, I will absolutely do that.
What is it about that connection to Lissa that pushes you on, that lets you, rise above and get at this God?
It's what we discussed before about restraining ourselves this is an opportunity to let loose. So that's I'm seizing the opportunity to revel in my power, I guess.
Absolutely. What do you want as your 2 picks off of that 8 to 10?
Let me see. I get from the from my playbook move, Reshaped by Despair, I get, let's see, causing those around you to despair. Yeah, describe how your form changes through violence and beauty. I think this is growing to gigantic size,
Okay.
and I gain their fear and loathing. It's people
Oh
are
yeah.
scared.
They're terrified, and you eat up their terror and you use that to power yourself.
Yeah,
And so
and
what are the
then
picks?
yeah, get past the defenses and inflict a condition,
Okay.
and expose a weak, or let's go. Yeah, let's go for that. Expose a weakness or flaw.
So I think they've come through and they like their attention is on Surreal. Like this is all for his benefit. This is all for him. All for you, Surreal. And I think you expose that is a weakness there for them. But you go and you slam, and I think that like you inflict some shock on him because he did not expect that. But there is a whipping around, and he is shifting between kind of a Surreal-like, weird, demonic form and this golden panther-like form, and he slices across you with those claws. Go ahead and mark a condition, and you are sent flying back into the crowd. You hear the give as you land on some people because your giant form. Surreal.
My focus is on Gazamak, and I think the risk here, I'm raging. I've been raging, angry. I want to get to somebody. And there is Gazamak, my nemesis.
Oh yeah, he is his golden panther form that you hadn't seen before that he put on just for you.
Yes. I think I'm going to use Ruin, my beloved nemesis. Mark II Ruin. They will appear in the scene defying logical plausibility. They will mysteriously offer to help you for now. Gain 1 bond with your nemesis and 1 bond with what the darkness demands of you.
I'm gonna join me, Serial. Let's just tear this world open. These people are not your friends. They are not your allies. We could be the twin godhead of this new world.
And then, so I've marked the 2 Ruin.
Okay.
And then I think I am torn by describe how a fan reaches out to you to remind you of why you work at the division is important. Clear 1 condition. So I am verging on joining her there. And then I think I see someone who's just stumbled out from the dust cloud that Egther has created.
You see Lane, who called you an angel, injured and staggering forward, clearly dragged here by Augustina to be a sacrifice in all of this. And she looks at you and she goes, "Help me."
And I will clear raging, and I will help her. I will stand between her and danger.
Okay. Then let's have you power through darkness to keep her safe.
Oh, okay. Oh, dearie me. I think that this is about fey glamour. This is about creating barriers, literal and veilish. But I have no darkness tokens. So a straightforward 2d6 will be at play. And that would be a 2. However, 3, 4, 5. Oh gosh, I cannot get to 8. even if I burn all my bonds. So I fear I am stuck with 2.
You will step forward. You will move to intercede and raise your barriers, and you hear, oh, there's one you care about. And he raises his hand and he does this, and you hear the crack and the snap, and you look back. Lane, who's kind of holding on to you, starts to slide down as her neck is at a 45-degree angle, and she collapses to the floor of the theater dead. Market condition.
Raging.
Goes right back. Lissa.
I want a moment with my dark patron.
Okay. Is that a particular playbook move?
Yes, it is. It's my
Okay.
playbook.
Okay.
And let me scroll down here. I mean, I've got like 200 lines on this thing at this point.
Absolutely.
So, a harbinger has claims that they will help you, assuring you that they are working against the other harbingers for their own secret agenda. When you call upon your patron and tell them what you need, the keeper will describe what you must do for them and their agenda in return. So, as usual, my eyes just go jet black, like obsidian. And then they turn a darker black, like that blacker than black paint that absorbs like 99.94% of light.
Okay.
And I say, oh, patron, I need to stop this.
You need me to pause the gate to hold it from going further, to give you time to do this, to deal with them?
If that is what you can do, then yes. But I need to make this stop. I'd like to get all the innocents clear, but I don't think that may not be an option this time.
Here is what I need you to do for me. I will do this for you, but you must bow down in obeisance to Suriel after this and grovel before him.
I am going to start unleashing my power. And I will say, Suriel is merely a god. I am the cosmos.
Marking those 2 ruin?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know why my patron puts up with me, honestly.
Absolutely. So I'm going to come back to you. Let's swing back as that conversation occurs. What do you think the others see of this? Like, how do they know that you've invoked something dark?
You're asking me?
Yes, listen.
Okay. The air around me starts crackling with, the closest way to describe it is black lightning, but it's like a lightning that erases whatever was there and leaves everything else as it was. So there might be a strand that goes halfway through a movie chair, and there's this jet black gap where that part of the chair should have been. The chair shouldn't be standing now, and yet it still is. It's as if there's something holding it together. Dark matter or something along those lines.
Let me have you, I think this is appropriate given the situation. I think that you are doing this sort of in the midst of all of this chaos and things like that. So I would like to have you power through darkness before I move on to Egther, to kind of keep yourself steady against all of this that's going on, both yourself and the external world?
So I was planning on getting some darkness tokens by giving into my power and letting it erase my will.
Okay.
And given the situation, I think I'm just going to let it go, and I'll take 4 darkness tokens.
Okay. How many do you want to spend on power through darkness?
I want to spend 3 on it.
Then let's have you roll.
Let me adjust that because there's 4. That's right. Math. All right. So that's a 13.
That is a 13. Mark a condition to exert control, or things get worse.
Yeah, under those circumstances, I will mark another condition.
What are you marking?
I'm going to mark reactive because I'm
Okay.
doing this as a response.
Egther, come back to you. Suriel has tried to get attention, tried to stay in defense, and though I think it's only at the corner of your eye, you see this innocent claimed.
Suriel is kneeling, cradling the dead mortal.
And at the back, you see Lissa crackling, like at any moment she could go overboard and kill every person here.
Yeah, I think my play at this point, I'm going to lean into, because I picked merciless for my condition. I am going to embody that to gain some tokens. I am going to trigger, I carry the hope of my people to take a ruin to temporarily gain access to dark power of darkness. I will choose necromancy, and because there are people who are dead here already.
Yes.
I will reanimate them and have them attack this harbinger, mostly to distract them, because that's what I can do at this point.
Perfect. That's still Unleash the Dark. How many tokens do you want to spend?
I feel like this should gain me 3 tokens. I will spend 2 of them.
All right. Go ahead and roll.
Rolling with +2, the 9. So that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
So confuse them for some time and gain the upper hand for now.
Okay. So you will essentially hit them, and these undead will come pouring up on them. I think because it's a sweet spot, you don't reanimate the girl in Suriel's arms. But this Gazmak is pushing back against this, but this is kind of and holding him, and I think that gate that was kind of starting to crack open is held by that, and Alyssa's call to her patron is held for the moment, but I think there is a cost here, and I won't do that. I think that he grabs onto you, rips that glamour arm off, that glamour hand off from you, and I need you to mark a condition in a ruin.
Oof. Yeah.
But he is locked up, caught up, distracted by you. You two are kind of held there in that. Surreal.
I don't see there's any alternative here than to go monstrous. I think that I am raging. I'm going to mark forlorn as well, actually. because I think the loss of Lane it can't be ignored. And I think I think Faye Glamour, Suriel, as he walks towards Gazamak, he gets bigger, physically bigger. And then I'm going to reach out with soul venom and I'm going to rip him to pieces.
Let's have you unleash the dark.
I am embodying a condition that affects me. So
Yep.
I will take 4 for that, please. And I will spend 3 of them. 2d6. What if we go wrong? 7 plus 3 is 10.
Perfect. What do you want as your picks there?
Unleash the dark. Get past their defenses and inflict condition.
Okay.
I get what you want from them get what I want from them is I want them gone.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily appropriate. You could inflict another condition.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, I will. Yeah, okay. I will inflict a condition. I will avoid reprisals, harm, or cost.
Okay.
And I will expose a weakness or flaw.
Oh, you get 3 of them?
No, I don't. I only get 2.
That's right.
So in which case, I will inflict a condition and expose a weakness or flaw.
Okay.
I will not avoid harm or a cost.
I think that you he is trying to draw the others, like the forces, like he's trying to rip open this world and cause harm here. And I think between you and Egther, you are keeping him from doing that. And I think there's a moment when you hear this yelling and see this sword come towards you as you see Augustina trying to serve her holy servant. And I think you just backhand her and send her flying to the length of the theater, crashing down. But he does reach up with his free hand and he puts it in your face and he rakes down across the eyes that you have on your skin, and he will deal another condition to you.
Obsessed or lustful. I'm going to mark lustful, and I am going to mark ruin for my beloved nemesis. There we go. Mark ruin. Because if I mark 1 ruin on this, I flashback that features an intimate moment between you two. How does it fuel your desire for revenge, or do you wish for something else? And I think we flash back to when I did that to my high priest and marked Gazamak. And I am wishing that we were back there when we had a perfectly reasonable abusive relationship.
Yeah, this is just a waste. This is so and he does say, he says, I killed her, I can bring her back.
Oh, you bastard. I am going to the outcome of that is I mark a bond with him and I clear a condition. I will clear lustful because his response to that puts that away.
Absolutely. Lissa, let's come to you.
I am going to give into my power and let it erase my will completely.
Okay.
I'll take 4 darkness tokens for that. And then I feel, well, hold on 1 second. Let me check something. Yeah, I feel like it is time to just, go absolutely apeshit.
Absolutely. In this theater full of people, 100%.
I mean, at this point, is death really the worst thing that can happen to them? I don't think so.
I think you should absolutely do this.
All righty. So I feel like I am your destruction might apply here.
Mm-hmm.
considering that I'm just unleashing it. You know, when you allow your power to surge and cause great collateral damage, ask the keeper what catastrophic destruction you cause. Would you like to resolve that before or after Unleash the Dark?
Let's do that. I think if you let this surge, you're going to kill everyone in the theater who's human.
Is it going to close the door?
You don't know. You've got it held right for the moment. Might not.
You know, all right, you got me. I will go ahead and unleash the dark and try to actually do something.
So what is that? Like, what do we see? Like, how do we know that you start to do that and then pull back? Like, what is it?
Oh, those tendrils of darkness start to snake outward, looking for people like they're hungry, like they're animals.
Mm-hmm.
That is, the tendrils look like they're animals, almost like
Perfect.
they're getting ready to feed on the people. And then they kind of pull back and turn slightly, and they look at that gate, that open door, and surge toward it.
Okay. Let's have you go ahead and make that roll for me. How many do you want to spend?
I'm spending 3.
Okay.
That's 15.
That is a 15. So choose one.
Oh boy. So let's see what we got here.
Do you want to get what you want to close that door?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get the door closed, because that feels like the huge problem right now. Suriel's dealing with whatever that gold panther thing is. You know, Egther's off
Absolutely.
like raising the dead. So yeah, let's just get the door closed. Let's see if we can get control of
You
that.
will throw your tendrils out that will make contact with the gate, which is something not unlike your powers, that sort of dimensional thing. And there will be this crash and this rip, and you will shut that. Mark a condition.
So
And
I'm
you
full up on
realize
conditions.
you realize that you're going to clear a condition because you have no powers right now. They're gone, sucked away by that connection, that connection of your cosmic energies to this thing. They're exhausted from you at the moment.
So really quick, does that mean that I hit my breaking point?
No,
Because
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will uncheck despairing then.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll uncheck obsessed. I feel like this is a moment to despair.
Yeah. You feel you are empty of those cosmic energies. Egther, hear the crackle as the gates shut and the scream of Lys's power going past you. And this guy is locked up, is still, his attention is entirely on Suriel. What do you do?
One of the things I picked was that I gained the upper hand for now.
Oh yeah, you've got him. Like, if you want to finish him.
Yeah. I will try to do that. I will pull out my hammer and I will Egther smash, I think.
Roll with Unleash the Dark. You are going to finish him. The question is the cost.
I will spend my 2 tokens. And 5, that's not enough. I will spend the bond with Lyssa to push that to an 8.
Perfect. Tell me what that looks like. He's grappled up with Suriel. His attention is there. You've turned him the way you want him. He's now like distracted as well by Lyssa having shut that gate. What is it that we see happen when you break his presence here in this plane?
I see Lyssa unleash her power and then lose it, lose her connection to her power source. I see Suriel struggling with this I keep forgetting his name.
You could call him Sebra, or you could call him Gazamak.
Kazumak.
He has many names.
Yeah. And he has taken my hand, and this is just an absolute rage. I don't think that Egther has any words at the moment. He just swings his hammer.
Then what is the like we've got budget for the FX for when your hammer connects with him. What do we see on screen?
There is definitely lightning and a crack of thunder, and I think the whole building cracks.
Yeah,
Like the
crack open the roof, lightning comes through it, hits him, and he just blows apart. Just a crackle of that, and even as the pieces are flying apart, the lightning is still going and burning each piece in the air as it goes. Let's do the epilogue for this particular case, shall we? Just a quick kind of in the aftermath of this. Lissa, things have gotten cleaned up somewhat. People survived. Some people died in the theater, but many survived. You managed to not kill the chancellor or Miss Coro in the theater there. And you can feel your powers. Maybe are they starting to come back now, or is it going to be a while? Like, what's your epilogue, Lissa, for this case?
I think, I don't know if everybody else went back and I like took a day or two extra just to hang out in Barcelona because, well, it's a nice city.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's near dawn and you see me wake up in bed. And as the camera pans out, you can see Miss Coro next to me. And I reach for my lighter and a pack of cigarettes. And just kind of on a lark, I snap my finger and you can see a tiny, tiny star at my fingertip. And I smile.
Surreal?
It's raining somewhere. Surreal is under an umbrella. Rain is pouring off it. And we follow Surreal's line of sight, and it's Lane's funeral service. And it's being conducted by the bishop. And the bishop notices Surreal, and they see one another, the eyes connect. And Surreal turns away and he says, "You will not be forgotten, Lane. I will have vengeance." And I've chosen as my ruined move from crowned by dream, exalted by nightmares, from the Found, I think.
Okay. We'll come back. We'll talk about what that implies next time. Egther, what about you?
Egther is up in the mountains near the city. I think there are mountains there.
Oh yeah. Once you go into the Spanish interior,
Yeah. It's mountains all over the place. Yeah, he's in the mountains, looking down over the city and out over the Mediterranean. And he is trying to, I think he's trying to care about what happened, but it's not, he's not connecting to all the death and destruction that he has got.
Nice. And that's our mystery for today. We will take up next time at Division with the fallout of all of this, the debrief, chance for you to interact with them before we get you set up on the next case. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes if y'all would be cool. Lissa, stars, wishes?
So I think the stars that, I mean, the thing that really sticks out to me from this session was how human Suriel turned out to be in it. Trying to comfort Lane, trying to take pain away from her, then actively grieving her loss in the middle of combat when everything is falling apart, and he takes the moment to be sad about one human, and then going to the funeral. There was just so much that Suriel did this time that was more than, I'm a big snarky god, you should worship me, and oh, by the way, here's my latest post for the gram. So it was a really nice session to watch Suriel doing all those things. Andish, Egther continues to surprise me. I mean, we had that genuine tender moment in the dining hall, and then the next thing I know, you're raising the dead and smashing people with a hammer. Like, my guy, what even is up with that? So it was really fun to watch you go from one extreme to another. That was really delightful. Lowell, as always, a lot of fun session. I just wish you'd let me hit my breaking point. That's, that would have been, that's the only wish that I would like to hit my breaking point.
Part of it was timing.
Sure. Okay.
We did not have time to play that out in a way that would have been satisfying for you. I kind of was conscious about that.
Totally fair. So I guess my wish for next time is hitting my breaking point, falling apart, and seeing what I have to do to put the pieces back together. So
fair enough. Okay. Suriel.
Yeah, I think this was really interesting because I think that we are seeing more and more dimensions of all these characters, and I think that's true of Lissa. I think that's true of Egther. There's a sense in which we are getting more monstrous, but we're also becoming more aware of the cost of being monstrous, both mechanically and narratively. So that's been delightful. And you killed the first mortal I liked. You will pay.
Anything wishes wise?
No, I just I'm just emptied out right
Okay.
now. I'm just emptied out. So I'll be in a better position to tell you what I wish after next time.
Okay.
I can't wait for the debrief, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Egther.
Yeah, my main wish is that because we're all on our way towards our breaking point, my wish is that those get staggered a bit so that it's not like two people hitting their breaking points right after each other at the same time, because these should be momentous occasions. So, I'm not laying that on you, Lowell.
No, but I think that's a good thing to tell me to keep in mind for pacing. Definitely.
Yeah. Otherwise, no wishes, I think. A general observation, kind of tying onto what Alan said, is that with these longer games, since this is a quarterly, you have time to allow your characters to be more complex. If you're just playing 4 sessions, then you kind of have to aim right at the core right away and stick to it. But here there's space for exploring more facets of the characters. Pure stars, I do like that you push us hard when we go into the fights, so that it feels dangerous, and I really appreciate that. Puckett, I like your very contentious relationship with your patron, that you're not taking any crap from them, but then you also have to live with the consequences. So that's fun. And Surreal or Alan, I enjoyed your humanity. This is similar to what Puckett said, and that you took it seriously, that you were supposed to be human when you talk to the returners, and extended that to me as well. I think that was a very nice thing.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. This is a mystery I put together. One of the things I realized is that it's actually, I think we've got sort of two things. Like we've got a cool mystery in a film festival, and we got a cool mystery with returners. And I think that I had a lot of ideas and I put them all together, and I think I need to split them off into their own mysteries. I think there's enough material I have here to do that with, but I enjoyed writing it and running it, and I enjoyed playing it out with you, and I appreciate you letting me do that. I am going to stop the recording.